to invite you down onto your back to begin the practice. I like to start with my feet flat on the floor and knees to the ceiling, but that's my personal preference. So if you want to extend your legs, you're welcome to do that. For those of you who just joined, my name is Breanna, and it's my pleasure to have you join me today for this 30-minute therapeutic class for hips. As we begin our practice, you might think about joining me in taking a full breath in and a big sigh out the mouth. Arriving on your mat. Getting to yoga can be difficult. Rearranging your schedule, committing to an online class, making sure you actually remember what time it is, and on and on and on. You might just take a moment to reflect on all the things that you had to do to be here right now with me live. And just appreciate your dedication to yourself and to your practice for being here. And know that I appreciate you being here. Let's tune into the body. Start to notice the sensations inside your body. Some areas might feel a little tight or tense. Some areas might feel relaxed or open. Just see what you can notice. Now let's get curious about the breath. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Try not to change it just yet. And if you'd like to, you can begin to lengthen the breath. Taking a long, slow breath in, followed by a long, slow breath out. And we'll just take a few moments to cultivate a breath, intentionally breathing in and intentionally breathing out. Encouraging your inhales and exhales to equalize. Taking a long, smooth breath in, followed by a long, smooth breath out. Allowing for your belly and rib cage to expand and contract. Now we'll continue with this equal inhale, equal exhale breath. And invite in some movement. Might just rock your head a little side to side. Maybe rock your knees a little side to side. And eventually bringing your knees to stack over top of your hips. And we'll have the feet directly out, creating kind of a tabletop with our shins. Now this is a bit of a core activator here, so it can be tempting to guide the knees into your chest, and if it's feeling too much on your core, this is going to be your alternative. Bring the knees into the chest. Otherwise, we're working on bringing the knees right over top of our hips. Take a big breath in here, and a big breath out. Gently lower your left leg down, straighten your right leg relatively up to the ceiling, and then relax the knee and the ankle joint. Feel the weight of the leg, and we want to feel the weight of the leg really sink down into your hip joint and that hip joint into the ground. And then we can make really teeny tiny circles here. They should be so small that you can hardly even notice them. Really tiny, tiny, tiny circles. Or trying to work with some of the smaller, more intricate little parts of our muscles around our hip joint rather than those really large dominant muscles. So really micro movements, switching directions. Great, and lower that right leg down. And we'll extend the left leg up now. Now start with extending the leg nice and straight and strong. Align yourself right over your hip, and then relax your knee and ankle joint. Feel the weight of the leg heavy into your hip here. And begin those micro movements, micro circles. Continuing to allow your leg to be heavy into the ground. Good, and now we'll switch directions of those micro circles. Now all the while, keep breathing. Equal inhale, equal exhale. Then you can bend the knee and lower it back down. We're going to guide our hands underneath of our sacrum, and this is so that we can feel the sensation as well. I like to guide my hands into kind of a triangle shape, touching my index fingers together and my thumbs together under my sacrum. Now the sacrum is that flat spot below your lower back, right before the tush. All right, now that you've got it anchored here, hands under sacrum, we'll begin to create circles with our hips, and we'll be able to feel the weight change on our hands. So let's begin by tilting the tailbone up towards the sky, flattening your low back towards the ground, and the weight should be more on your thumbs. Now tilt your hips over to the right hip, lifting and becoming light on the left side. Rolling down towards the tailbone. The tailbone should now be pointing into the ground, weight onto your fingers, lifting in your low back, and then over to the left side. Now continue to move in this circle with the hips. The goal with these gentle, fluid movements is to encourage a lubrication in the joints. So we have this wonderful little fluid in our body called synovial fluid. And these gentle little movements are just kind of pushing the fluid around. It's like having water in a Ziploc bag, and you can kind of squish it around to get the entire area nice and lubricated. So we're doing that with our hip joints and our low back and SI joints. Now switch directions of your circles. Remember to keep breathing. Finishing up one last circle, and then lifting your hips, removing your hands, and just allowing your hips to be heavy on the ground. Feel the lingering effects of the movement. Take a full breath in, And a full breath out. Gently roll over to one side. Press yourself up onto a hands and knees position. And we'll come all the way into a tabletop position. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath of hips for a few cat-cows. Breathing in, lifting the gaze, extending the tailbone out behind you. And then exhale, rounding the spine, pushing your hands into the ground. Breathing in, lifting up, belly button downwards. And exhale, round. Take one more full cycle of breath. And then finding a neutral position with your spine. From here, you're going to imagine that you have a marker attached to your tailbone and you're going to make a big circle. So drawing a circle with your tailbone. And now this circle can be as large as you want it to be. It can be as small as you want it to be. And you'll notice that your rib cage and shoulders kind of move as a result. Just finding some fluid movement here. And you might add your breath to the movement. So inhaling as your tailbone goes downwards. Exhaling as it goes upwards or vice versa. Take one or two more circles. And then switch directions. Good. When that's feeling complete, you'll find stillness. Take a full breath in, curl your toes under, and as you breathe out, lift your hips up and back for a downward facing dog. Here you can pedal out your feet. I always like to bend the knees, press the chest to the back of the mat, and then lift the tailbone up to the sky. That helps us find length in our spine. Take a couple breaths here. And then slowly walking your feet forward to meet your hands. At some point, you might come onto your fingertips. Bringing the weight into your toes, back into your heels. Maybe even swaying a little side to side, just exploring here in your forward fold. And then slowly bending the knees and rolling vertebrae by vertebrae all the way up. Rolling your shoulders up, back and down, hands to the side. Bring your feet right underneath of your hips. Pick up the toes, spread them nice and wide, and ground down through your big toe knuckle and your outer heel. Your baby toe knuckle and your inner heel. Open up the hands here. Find length through the crown of your head and roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Let's inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, draw the hands down through the midline of your body. Two more just like that. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, draw them down. Breathing in, arms rise up. And breathing out, drawing them down. Resting your hands in front of your heart, creating a little resistance, pushing your palms into one another. Begin to sink your hips back into a chair pose. Check in with your feet now, keeping them hip distance apart. Your knees too should be hip distance apart. So ensuring that your knees are pointing in the same direction as your toes. And then bringing the weight back into your heels a little bit. Breathing here, full breath in, full breath out. You might start to feel a little bit of heat building here in your body. That's normal, that's good, that's okay. We're going to be doing quite a few chairs and moving into a bit more of the strengthening component of our hips. When you're ready, inhale, rise all the way up, stretch those arms up to the sky, and then exhale, lower down into your chair pose. 2 more, inhale, rise up, and exhale, sink down. This third one we're going to hold, inhale, rise up, exhale, sink down. Now getting creative here, working on those little stabilizer muscles. Guide your hands to the outsides of your thighs. Now you're going to push your hands into your thighs, and I'll push your thighs back into your hands. Create that resistance, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, chair pose. Now guide your hands to the insides of the legs. Push your hands into your legs, legs into hands. You've got this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Rise all the way up. Inhale. And exhale, hands down to your heart. Shift your weight over into your left leg. Step or slide your right foot back. We're coming into a lunge. Deep bend through your front knee, lifting through your back heel, and really breathing here. You might rest your hands on your hips or at heart center just to find your balance. The wider your feet apart are, the more stable you'll feel. The more one in front of the other they are, the more challenging it might be for your balance. Take a whole breath in and a breath out. Now we're going to do some imaginary working exercises here with our legs. You're going to imagine that you can tear your yoga mat apart. So you're going to reach your legs in opposite directions as hard as you can without actually moving your feet. Here we go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now imagine you can squish it back together again. Squeeze your legs together for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Drop your back heel down so your back foot is now parallel with the short edge of your mat. Straighten your front leg. Reach your hands out. Take a full breath in. And as you breathe out, reach forward, kicking your right hip back. And then you can tilt your left hand down to meet your left shin, extending your right hand up. Take a whole full breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale, rise all the way up. Turn, lifting your heel once again, pivoting onto your toes. Lower your knee down for a low lunge. Here you may need to wiggle your front foot forward to allow your hips to melt forward. Breathing here. Now I like to do a little side bend here, resting my left hand on the left leg, reaching the right arm up, and then over to the left. Full breath in, full breath out. Coming back to center, lowering the hands, tenting the fingertips down by your front foot. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee, and step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen your spine, press off of your shins, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and on your next exhale, fold forward. Breathing in, rolling vertebrae by vertebrae all the way up to standing. Reach those arms up to the sky. And then as you exhale, draw your hands down the midline. Shift the weight to the right. Lift and step or slide the left leg back into your lunge. Remember, the wider the feet are, the more stable they are. One in front of the other, the more challenging it is for your balance. Hands can rest at your heart or your hips. And we'll just breathe for a moment. Now imagine you can tear your mat apart, reach your feet in opposite directions without actually moving them for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now squeeze your feet together without moving them. Squeeze your legs together for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Drop your back heel down. So you're pivoting your back foot down, opening yourself up to the side. Straighten your front leg. reach your hands out here and start to stretch forward, reaching your right fingertips forward, kicking your left hip back, and then dropping that right hand down onto your shin, extending your left arm to the sky. Take a full breath here. I'm just going to pop up to the screen just to check. All right. Slowly rising all the way back up. Okay, now we're pivoting once again, hands to your hips. You're going to pivot onto your toe, lift your heel, and drop your knee down for that low lunge. Wiggle your front foot forward, and then allow the hips to melt forward. Here we'll allow the left arm to extend. Take a full breath in. And as you breathe out, reach over to the left. Breath in. Breath out. Rising all the way back up, lowering your hands to the floor. Curl the back toe under, and then step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And slowly roll all the way up. Extend your arms up to the sky. And then as you exhale, draw your hands down the midline of your body. And pause. We're coming down to the floor in a moment, but I want to get our props set up. Find your long prop, whether it's a strap or a blanket or whatever it is. If you are using a blanket, I'm going to stop for a moment for me to do a quick demo of how I want you to have your blanket. So this is entirely unfolded. You're going to find the short side. Find two corners of the short side. Fold it in half. Still holding the short side, fold it in half. So it should get really, really long and a quarter of the width. And then you can lower it down onto your yoga mat sideways and save it there for later. Let's come down to the ground. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step one foot back and then the other, and lower down onto your right hip. We're going to guide the right shin in front of us and the left knee out to the side. So we're on the outside of our right leg and the left leg has the inside down, kind of in this little stag-legged position. Take a full breath in, lengthen up. And as you breathe out, walk yourself over top of your front leg, folding here. And we're going to take a minute to breathe in this position. You can return back to your breath at the beginning of the practice. Finding a smooth inhale, followed by a smooth exhale. Encouraging equal inhale, equal exhale. Slowly begin to rise all the way up. Sitting over onto your right hip, let's rotate our left leg. So now we're going to guide both feet together, wiggle them to the center of your body, knees open wide. Take a full breath in here. And then as you breathe out, folding forward. We'll be here for 3 intentional breaths. Full breath in. Full breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Slowly rise all the way back up. Grab your right leg. Sit over, lean over to your left hip. Rotate your right leg so that the inside of the knee comes down to the ground. You're going to turn to face your left shin. Take a full breath in. And as you breathe out, start to fold forward. We're here for 1 whole minute. Allow your head to hang. Focus on your breath. Equal inhale. Equal exhale. Slowly rise all the way back up. Lean over into your left hip, extend both legs in front of you, and you can kind of windshield wiper them a little side to side. Now we're going to set up for our final pose here. It's going to be a restorative variation. So turning lengthwise on your mat. And we'll grab our yoga block or pillow, place it in between the legs. Now, slide your long prop, whether it's a strap or a blanket, whatever it is, underneath of your legs. Now I'm going to wiggle it nice and long, and I'm going to take one end and wrap it around my thighs, and I'm going to hold it here. And then grab the bottom of it, pull it tight, and keep that tension as you wrap it over the edge of the other side of the blanket, and you're going to wrap it all the way around, and then I'm going to take the end and tuck it underneath of wherever it lands. So it's going to tuck underneath of the original part of the blanket. And this way, you should be able to not have to hold your legs together. So the blanket should be tight so that your legs don't fall out. And the pillow or the block is in between your legs so they don't fall in. Now, if you have another prop for your head, you're welcome to use that for your head. But from here, we'll slowly roll down onto the ground with your feet flat on the floor, knees to the ceiling. I even sometimes guide my feet a little bit wider so that they kind of fall into each other and find a place of stability. This shape is called constructive rest. When we stabilize our legs so that they can't fall out, they can't fall in, it's one of the first and only times that our iliopsoas muscle can totally let go of any tension. It is always engaged to keep our hips and low back stable as we sleep, as we sit, as we walk, as we stand. This is one of the only times this deep hip flexor is able to fully rest. And we only have a minute here left together. So please feel free to stay here to rest as long as you'd like, even after the class has ended. But for a final minute together, I encourage you to tune into the rhythm of your breath and just observe your breath. No need to change it or alter it, just simply observe. please stay as long as you'd like. When you're ready to come out, you can wiggle fingers, toes, and blink your eyes. Slowly roll to one side, press yourself up, and unravel the prop you have around your legs. Now, once again, my friends, I want to thank you for being here today, for practicing with me. My name is Breanna, and I hope to continue to offer these classes live weekly. So please give my profile a follow if you enjoyed this class and want to join me again in the future. You'll be able to see all of my upcoming live events. If this class resonated with you and you have the ability to do so, please think about donating so that we can keep these classes regular and coming. It's been my pleasure, my honor to guide you through your practice today. Namaste.